A very good evening and a warm welcome to everybody. Uh, Friends, today's theme is Physicians Heals Thyself. In a lighter vein, वो बस में लिखा रहता है ना, यात्री कृपया अपने सामान की रक्षा स्वयं करें. Similarly, हे डॉक्टर महोदय, आप अपनी रक्षा स्वयं करें. Physicians Heals Thyself. Today we have two stalwarts for this unique theme. Friends, in several webinars, we have seen the anchor or rather the person who introduces a speaker says, this speaker needs no introduction. And today I can proudly say that today's two speakers really needs no introduction. And I will not talk much about them because you all know very well. And today I'll give some personal experiences with both of them. To start with, Sir, Dr. Asrani, sir. I met him in my Gurukul, that is Milan Polyclinic, where he used to come to opine on some cases and also at Smruti to talk in the Thursday CMEs. I mean, I was so mesmerized with him that he just spoke and I listened. He just spoke and I listened. And believe me, whenever he speaks, some clinical tips flow from his mouth. हिंदी में बोलते हैं, उनके मुखार बिंद से क्लिनिकल टिप्स के रूप में मोतियां बरसती हैं. He has conducted about 43 webinars till now and has also conducted 150 hours of training in the lockdown. Doctor, many of you friends of Mumbaikars may be knowing of Dr. O.P. Kapoor. Attending these 43 webinars and 150 hours of training, several family physicians says that Dr. Asrani is next Dr. O.P. Kapoor, and I agree with them. Really, I agree with them. You just have to hear him to see all those hear all those clinical tips. Sir, please come. The stage is yours.
Unmute, sir. I have been taking talks on wellness for consumers, and all these 92 doctors here, whatever your age may be, today age is no guarantee of survival. I always say that whatever wonderful person or a doctor you may be, make sure that you remain in the present tense and not become the past tense. You know, like after I become a doctor, or nowadays also when some banking call comes, Mr. Asrani, I said no. I say 5.5 साल झक मारी है MR से DR बनने के लिए. And for us, it doesn't take time for people to say, oh, he was such a nice person. You suddenly go from present tense to past tense. Why does that happen? Because we think, or rather we believe when patient tells us falsely, आप तो भगवान हैं, and we believe that. We should realize that we are also mere mortals. And all of you, I'm sure you know that the average lifespan of a doctor is 5 years lower than the other person. Why I thought of today's topic? Because you know, olden days, if you felt sorry about somebody's demise, you would call someone, you will send a message, you will write some words. Nowadays it's a formality, RIP, emoticon, matter is over. People don't even have time to write that rest in peace, nothing. And now when in last, like I do not know all the homeopaths who have passed away in recent past, but I would read on the groups that, oh, sad, oh, another one gone. Then I said it's time that we took a call and let people understand how they should look after themselves. So death is a very morbid topic, but death teaches us. All our medical college began with study of the dead by the dissection. I don't know about homeopathy colleges, but in modern medicine, our colleges, every month there used to be a death conference, and all the patients who died in that week would be discussed retrospectively. The top physicians would come, and that was the best place we could learn. So today I'm going to start my talk with death. How does it occur and how does it prevent? And before I start my talk, I would thank you, Vishpala. Despite being in the convalescing mood, she agreed to come and share her wishes with us. So here I begin. Physician, heal thyself. Who you can go to? You can ask somebody for a remedy in case you think you are not getting the right remedy for you. You can ask a medicine to someone, but healing is to be done by ourselves. Nobody can do it for us. So let me tell you about wellness illness continuum. What does this mean? This is positive health. We are healthy. As per the WHO definition of health, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, everything. I am wow. Then I am in a better health. Well, I am still healthy, but I wasn't what I was 5 years back. I am still healthy. That means I don't have a sickness, but I don't feel as energetic, as good. I am not wow today. Then there is a sickness in my body, which, despite being a doctor, either I don't recognize or I fail to take action. All of us, when feel slightly unwell, pass it on as, oh, I have been working overtime, I have been not sleeping well. Mild sickness, severe sickness. This is what wakes us up. But before we can act, there is death. In this phase, there is severe morbidity and mortality. And I want all of us to be in the first two segments, not in any of the three in between. So if you hear somebody, a fellow was sitting in a corporate presentation, he just died. Ask yourself a question: can death occur just like a chutki? No. The answer is a big no. Why the death cannot occur like this, other than a bomb blast or an act of terrorism, is because we have amazing body reserves. We have a heart that very sedately beats at 60 to 90 times a minute. We have a blood pressure that is 120/80. We have lungs that breathe 10 to 12 times a minute. We have a brain that controls everything. We have a liver, kidney, and stomach that keep working constantly. And we are not even aware that any organ is working. But when there is need, this heart can start pumping up to 100 to 150. The BP can go up to 200, 250, and then come back to normal when things are normal. And this organ reserve cannot make us die instantly. We know that 1/10 of one kidney is enough to sustain life. We know that 2/3 of heart can die, yet the patient lives. We know people are surviving with an ejection fraction of 15. We know one lung can be surgically removed, yet the patient can be near normal and run a marathon. One may start panting after walking a few steps, but still alive. People may be brain dead, but still alive. So understand, death can never be instant. Death has crept upon on you without you realizing. Let's take a minute to understand course of disease and death in humans. This is a flowchart based on our textbook of PARC, Preventive and Social Medicine. Any disease requires an interaction of host, that is our body, the agent, and environment, our lifestyle. And stimulus, in pre-pathogenesis stage, a stimulus, a bacteria, virus enters, early pathogenesis, discernible early lesion, clinically identified disease. We take treatment, disease worsens, reaches its peak, treatment is successful, we convalescent, and then we recover. When there are no agents, chronic ailments, in the human host, stimulus or agent established. Today, I got my first report showing as pre-diabetes. 6 months back, I was normal. The agent has established, the disease has established. Some changes occur in my body, tissue and physiological changes. I get some symptoms, and if capital if go to a doctor, they will get some clinical signs. I have a manifest illness. I have a disability. I'm not saying physical disability. I cannot work like before. Earlier, I could work with 6 hours of sleep, but today I need 7 hours. Earlier, I could do a 10-minute kilometer. Now I require 11 and a half. A certain deficit occurs. Now I'm not doing all the work that I could. Chronic changes in the body occur, and then there is death. Dividing this chart, there is a line below the symptom signs. This is called the clinical horizon. Anything below this line, we are not aware. Or I would say, a layman is not aware. As a doctor, we should be aware. So it is our job that in a patient, we have to identify at these stages, and good doctors do that, but they miss out in their own. And this journey, my friends, from here till here, takes 10 to 15 years. So a sudden heart attack at the age of 34, the disease established in age of 20. A bypass done at 40, disease started at 25. This is recovery, and this is severe morbidity. This morbidity is our bread and butter. We earn on patient sickness, but our sickness we forget. So diseases can be classified into communicable and non-communicable. Communicable disease, everybody is now facing COVID. Acute infections that kill. Pneumonia, other lower respiratory tract infections, diarrheal diseases, vector-borne infections, dengue, malaria, leptospirosis, hepatitis, meningitis, typhoid. They kill, but they kill more often the immunocompromised people who are unhealthy. They do not kill healthy people. Epidemics, pandemics, now we are seeing SARS, COVID-19, infections that kill over time, tuberculosis, hepatitis B and C, and HIV. Death after prolonged sickness, sequel after effect of any acute illness or injury, you get severe anemia, severe pneumonia, and then you get into ARDS, you recover but your lung function capacity is gone. Infections with the long drawn course, rheumatic heart disease occurs in childhood, then becoming rheumatic cardiac disease, and then death in age of 40-45. Hepatitis B and C, from the time you get infected till cirrhosis, 15 years, another 10 years of liver cancer, and death of 5 years. HIV, tuberculosis, all these things which have a long drawn course. Non-communicable disease, these are the biggest killers, and they are the ones we have to be aware of. Hypertension and complications. TOD is an acronym of target organ damage. BP does not kill anyone, its effect on the target organ kills. Diabetes and complications. Dyslipidemia and complications. What are the complications? Coronary heart disease and stroke. Cancer. Obesity. Now we know it's a disease, it's not only an attribute. And ailments related to substance abuse, alcoholic cirrhosis, tobacco-related stroke, tobacco-related cancer, tobacco-related myocardial infarction. Chronic diseases, the definition is it's an impairment of the bodily structure and or bodily function that necessitates a modification of patient's normal life and has persisted over an extended period. Ask yourself, how often have you taken leave from work for a sickness? Or how often have you taken a break from your this thing for sickness? I'm not talking of a holiday. The Commission on Chronic Illness in USA has defined chronic disease as comprising all impairments or deviations from normal which have one or the more characteristic of the following. They are permanent. They never go away. Your hypertension, diabetes, lipid abnormalities are permanent and they leave residual disability. They do not leave a person what he or she was before the disease came in. They are caused by non-reversible pathological alteration. So there are no bacteria, no viruses, no remedies, no sods will work. It is your lifestyle that will make you sick. They require special training of the patient for rehabilitation. Patient is us, the physician. And what is rehabilitation? If I am told to cut down work, if you are going 2 times a day, reduce by 50%. Sorry, can't do. Because heart to heart, we are all daily wage earners, and we never learn to rehabilitate ourselves if we are sick. They usually expected to require a long period of supervision, observation, or care. All of you here who have either blood pressure or diabetes or have somebody in the family, are you spending enough time to look after your chronic illness? So let me explain target organ damage. Hypertension and diabetes, heart, brain, kidney, and the eye. Stroke, chronic renal failure, myocardial infarction, and irreversible blindness. And if hypertension is 1, diabetes is 1, in a person who has both, that 1 plus 1 is 11, higher chance of getting all of this. And believe me, an average doctor, even with the best of income today, cannot afford treatment of all of this or any one of this. And also understand one thing, if a doctor gets a stroke in the age of 51, a left-sided stroke which leaves right side hemiplegia with speech gone, none of us have the resources to sustain our life till we are alive and our family. So in the next issue, look for my article, what kind of insurance a doctor should have and how much. So non-communicable diseases are slow growing. There are multiple factors in causation. There's not a single agent. The silent killers. कल तक तो बहुत अच्छा था. अरे, I met him in the party. We had pani puri together and didn't get up today morning. Chronic changes in the body target organ, and then just understand, if somebody today you hear died of a heart attack or a stroke, 15 years the body was preparing for that death. They cripple, disable more than the kill. I always say that somebody who's dead is actually free, because then family suffers. Person is alive and cannot be productive. That is the true suffering. Yet all modern day killers are preventable, detectable, controllable, and treatable just by lifestyle changes. Not taking a medicine, lifestyle changes. Just by taking your diabetes tablet or blood pressure tablet, keeping your values normal is not controlling your chronic ailment. We must have lifestyle changes. So let me look at an epidemiological trial once again. As I said again, host is our body, agent is the disease causation, and in the topic of chronic ailment, they are the risk factors. What are the risk factors? Hypertension, diabetes, obesity, smoking, tobacco chewing, excess alcohol consumption, unsafe practices. What are unsafe practices? Driving without a helmet or seat belt, and unsafe sex with multiple partners. These are the things that will kill one day and after crippling for a long time. So let's again understand what we have to cover. Host. I can say that, what I can do, my family has genetic history of obesity. Fair enough. But today, if you are obese and you are not making attempts to reduce weight, then your genetic history is not going to save you. Your lifestyle. In environment, physical environment, all of us have a good physical environment. We don't stay in slums. We don't stay in very crowded houses. We don't suffer from tuberculosis because of our environment. Our socio-economic conditions are good. The agent are risk factors specific to disease. So what is the correlation? Why is Dr. Sarain talking on all this? Lifestyle is becoming the agent of my chronic disease, my suffering, my early death. Today, I must confess here, I am a diabetic of 21 years duration, and I am mortally terrified of getting either CKD or a stroke or a MI that leaves my heart ejection fraction 15, that I cannot talk, cannot work. Mortally scared. I do my checkups every 6 months to make sure my parameters are normal. So then this question has been asked to me by a lot of doctors. Why are we talking of lifestyle so much? So just let me show you what is lifestyle important. Changes in lifestyle leads to abundant and junk food. Those of you are saying no, not in my case, just think the amount of junk food you were taking 5 years ago and today, it is definitely more. Lack of physical exercise. The minute you have a vehicle, your physical exercise go for a toss. And some people start smoking because the lifestyle is good now. I can afford, I have friend circle who smokes, peer pressure. This leads to obesity. Obesity is increased lipids. You may not eat much, but if you're obese, your lipids are high. Increased lipids leads to coronary atherosclerosis. Stress also causes smoking. Why do you smoke? Arey, you don't know the tension I have got, and smoking relieves. Stress causes emotional distancing, emotional disturbances. That causes high BP because it's all catecholamines, adrenaline, noradrenaline are stress chemicals. Obesity causes high BP. High blood pressure causes changes in arterial walls, atherosclerosis. Smoking causes tendency of clot formation is increased. I always tell my smoker patient, wow, you will make a clot wonderfully well and very early. Smokers form very good clots. All these three lead to coronary blockage. Whether it is coronary blockage in the heart or blockage of a cerebral vessel is similar. Reduced blood supply to heart muscle or brain, myocardial infarction. Now, all this that is happening due to changes in lifestyle earlier would happen in aging after the age of 55, 60. High BP, we never saw blood pressure below 55, 50. Now we are seeing in 28, 30 also, and they need treatment. So all this atherosclerosis earlier was age related. So this is, if you ever have a doubt, no, how is my lifestyle going to affect me? Remember this picture. So the message is identify unhealthy lifestyle risk factors in you and must control them by adopting healthy lifestyles. Learn to respect your body through exercise, nutrition, and stress management. We have been given a body by God. Every night that you sleep, on one side, I tell people, you think, did I learn something new today? And if the answer is no, you wasted that day. And today you ask, have I given my body good nutrition? Have I exercised my body today? Have I rested it enough? And the answer to any of these three is no. Take remedial action. People who consume 4 vodkas on a Friday night, on a Saturday, go to the gym and burn 500 calories. You have to balance. The life is a balance. So modern urban life, wrong food habits, erratic routine. Now, earlier on, though, we could say that practice became heavy, so I reached home late. Now, even in work from home, our food timings are erratic. Lack of exercise. Where to go? Lockdown che. No, at home you can do. Even if you have a one-room kitchen, you can do spot marching, you can do free hand exercises. Improper sunlight. All of us have low vitamin D. Smoking, drinking, and stress. We are all under stress. Your current issue of row 6. The remedies are for stress, competitive, ambitious, jealousy, wanting to come first, always want to remain in the rat race. Other doctor is getting so many patients, I am getting less, he is charging so much, I am charging less. That stress kills, my friends. And then when you, now to of course for last 2 years there are no conferences, you go to a conference, you see 5 doctors getting together and laughing, and when you go, they change the topic. That is stressful situation. What were they talking? I am sure they were talking about me. Negative thoughts. Negative thought comes very easily and free of cost. Biggest killer, not war, not disease, natural calamities or accidents. It's the lifestyle, our faulty lifestyle. And that we have to correct it. How do we correct? A 4-legged stool, diet and nutrition. So I will give you tips. If you want to hear, remember, write it down. all of us should understand, for us and for our patients, oil consumption per month per person adult is 500 ml oil, ghee, butter, cheese combined. Anything more is going to the arteries. The lipid profile that you read is the freely circulating cholesterol in your blood. Something else is also going to get deposited in the arteries, causing blockage. We have to eat good food. So my idea of a good food briefly is 2 to 2.5 liters of water, 2 servings of milk and milk product, 2 fruits, a quarter plate of salad for yourself. If you are inclined and if you can afford, 5 almonds and 2 walnuts every morning. Exercise. The American Society of Sports Medicine says 30 minutes of aerobic exercise 5 days a week at least. Aerobic exercise is something which uses your full body. Walking, brisk walking, jogging, cycling, swimming, 30 minutes non-stop. A Muslim lady, I normally don't talk of religion. Why I'm saying it? Because she actually taught me a lesson. I was telling her to lose weight. Doctor, in our family, we are not allowed to go out for a walk. I said, do anything, 30 minutes non-stop. She came after 2 months. She had lost 6 kilos and she was smiling. I said, क्या किया आपने? परमिशन मिला? नहीं डॉक्टर, मेरे को डांस का शौक है, मैं रूम बंद करके डिस्को म्यूजिक लगा के I was dancing non-stop. That is aerobic exercise. Those of you who believe that yoga is exercise, no, yoga complements aerobic exercise. It is not aerobic exercise. In aerobic exercise, I must have a heart rate going up to a certain level. 30 minutes every day and go back to your school days. Remember your PT, do that for 10 to 15 minutes. Sleep 7 to 8 hours a day. You are not a god or a demigod that you can work with 5 hours. Sleep debt. If you're in your accounts, there is sleep debt. That is a cause for sudden death without hypertension, without diabetes, without anything. Sleep debt is the cause of sudden death. And stress. I will just give, everybody knows what is stress. I will just give in 2 words. Be happy with whatever you have. Learn to become a good person. And these 4 small patties, they actually show that all these are related. You cannot say 3 months I will control diet, 3 months I will exercise, 3 months I will sleep, 3 months I will control stress. No, all of that together is required. If we manage this, if we do periodic checkups, if we take action on abnormal reports, if we make sure that our target organs are not damaged, then it will be said that as a physician, I am healing myself. So I'm leaving you with some thoughts, time to ponder. And a big thank you. Despite starting late, I have finished in time. Everybody has to work like this. You don't know how much time you have. Satish, you are on mute.
Unmute.
Unmute yourself. Satish, unmute yourself.
Done.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. You have given us homework. Like रात को भगवान को याद करने से अच्छा है कि believe what you think, that whether you exercise today, whether you had good nutrition, whether you manage your lifestyle. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I think in nobody in the lecture they would have told about such things, especially the half a kg of oil per month. Nobody, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Now, our next speaker Hello. Our next speaker, Dr. Praveen Swarna sir, who is commonly known as he said, AIDS Praveen in Hyderabad.
Dr. Satish, 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Satish,
Yes, sir.
just give me 3 minutes time. There is small emergency. I'll just attend. Come back.
Fine, sir. Fine, sir.
Please, I request Asrani sir to speak something. I'll just come back in 3 minutes.
So,
Sir, can we take the question? We have one question for you.
yeah, sure. I'll be more than happy.
Yeah.
Only one question.
I think, sir, you have explained us so nicely that there is no question. So one Dr. Jaslin Luthra, she asked us, what is the difference between agent and stimulus?
Agent is the causative organism, and stimulus is something that stimulates the disease in you. So like today also, people who are having a good lifestyle, they may contact COVID but will not suffer. Their reports are negative. Their body wins over the agent. But if the body is not immune properly, good immunity, then that agent acts as a stimulus to cause the disease in the host.
So there is one more question by Dr. Gayatri. How much oil or ghee we should have daily?
I just said half a kg. So the rule is this, I'll tell you. Pure ghee, 1 spoon. Vegetable oil, 2 spoons. You have a lot of people who say, how much oil do you use? I ask my patient. No, I use very little oil. I use more of ghee. So my next question is, how many people in the house? 4 adults. What is the monthly consumption? 5 liters. And this lady has been harping all over the world that they use little oil. And when you talk of the oil, you don't even talk of what you are consuming from outside. Your batata vada, samosas, farsan, all that is not counted.
Sir, I have got a question.
Yes.
What do you say about meditation and spirituality for a healthy lifestyle or living healthily? How do you express
See,
that?
this meditation and stress management is a 6-hour talk. Now, meditation, I have some time, so I'll explain to you. Meditation has a lot of misconceptions. People say, oh, you sit in a proper position, put agarbatti, put some red light, put something. No. My definition of meditation, which works. Meditation is an art of focusing on whatever you want to focus when you want to focus. So I'll give 3 examples here. As a doctor, I have a 1-year-old child brought to my clinic, and when I auscultate, I hear a murmur. So I pay attention. Now understand, a 1-year-old child with a heart rate of 110 to 115, 2 heart sounds for every beat. So I'm talking of 230 beats. So if I have to listen to those 230 beats and identify an extra sound, I'm actually focusing on that auscultation. Even if a mobile rings, I will not listen. That, my friend, is my meditation. If a 90-year-old lady has to thread a needle and it takes her 40 seconds, that 40 seconds is her meditation. A lady with a compromised vision has to clean rice and make sure she does not miss out a stone. That is her meditation. So meditation is focusing. And you know what is meditation? if you sit in an odd position which gives you tingling numbness in your lower limbs, you can sit in a chair and meditate. You can sit. My training to corporate people is, if the boss is harassing you, go to the toilet, sit on the commode seat and meditate, and it works wonderfully well. So yes, meditation is an answer, but ask 100 doctors, do they meditate? I don't need to meditate. I have no stress.